Yeah, hi there, and you're one of my students in my online TOEFL course, the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. You're also a student in the English language program here at California State University, San Bernardino. And I'm going to go through your paragraph. My first impression right now, and I'm going to correct everything here in just a minute, but 3.0 out of 5, 20 points out of 30, or 76%. So there are a number of language use issues that you're having trouble with. So I'm going to just say here, in daily life, people have more choices. I'm going to say people have more choices of where and what to eat. And then a new problem comes out. I'm going to change this to a question. A new question comes out. Maybe here. Eat at fast food stands or eat food at home. Maybe something like that, and then then someone considers maybe say this. Some believe that eating food at restaurants could save. Let me change this to can save time. And offer maybe a variety of foods you might say from which to choose, which is true. However, in my opinion, I prefer to eat food at home. And so you don't have that fragment there. You want to combine both of these to avoid that fragment. So, however, in my opinion, I prefer to eat at home because it has more advantages. But I would rather, instead of saying advantages, just take the key points of your thesis. You might say because it's inexpensive, it's safe, and more convenient. So just take those points, put them into the thesis, and that would give you a little bit better thesis statement. Now let's move to your next paragraph. In the first place, eating it at home, I would put here, make it a little more direct. This is your argument, right? So saves more money. Maybe say here, although, instead of there's no denying, say, although eating at food stands offer a diversity of foods to choose, compare with home cooking, eating out, I'm going to change this to will cost more money. For instance, you might say suppose suppose each meal suppose that each meal at a restaurant costs $10 for each person, and a family of 2 will pay $10 You want to say if that figure is You had trouble doing this, so if that figure is multiplied three times, you might want to say the total sum of money spent equals $60 for one day, you might say, of dining, which is too expensive. Okay, I think we have that. We're going to work on this paragraph a little bit more. Okay, let's keep working on this paragraph. So in the first place, eating at home saves more money, although eating at food stands offer a diversity of foods to choose. Compared with home cooking, eating out will cost more money. For instance, suppose each meal at a restaurant costs $10 for a person, and a family of two will pay, and then a family of two will pay $10. If that figure is multiplied three times, and if that is multiplied according to two persons eating out, the total sum of money spent equals $60 for one day of dining, which is too expensive. However, I'm going to say if these two people, not you, if these two people eat food at home, they could use this $60 to buy many vegetables and meats for eating for more than 1 week. Because when, I'm going to use consumers instead of we, because when consumers eat outside, they always order too much food and just eat a little. Eating food at home, we could eat some remaining food from last meal sometimes. Usually say leftovers. So eating at home makes it easier to save the leftovers for a future meal. Maybe say thus. Eating at home will save more money with less waste. It's good. You have a good example in there, so I think it's good. You just have a lot of language use issues going on. Okay, let's take a look at your next paragraph. So you say, what is more? If you said in the first place, if you said in the first place, you probably need to say in the second place to keep it parallel. So in the second place, home cooking is, I'm going to say safer, because safe is an adjective, so safer than eating at restaurants. So I'm going to make that comparison a little more complete there. It's true, not everyone is good at cooking and eating outside. Patrons I'm going to use patrons instead of you, so it's usually better with these kinds of writing tasks to focus on either the first or the third person point of view. So an eating outside provides patrons or customers with more delicious foods. However, these customers don't know how the restaurants, you want to use a verb here, they don't know how the restaurants cook the food. I'm going to change this to say, nor do they know. You ever use nor as a conjunction? There we go. These customers don't know how the restaurants cook the food, nor do they know if the food is safe and healthy. For example, many restaurants will add food additives to their foods to make the foods taste more delicious and have a more attractive appearance. But we know that is not safe. How about that is neither safe nor healthy. And let's give you a little bit variety, thereby causing potential bodily harm. So if you do that, that gives you a little bit better sentence variety here. If we cook at home, you have to use, remember, if you have a connector, you need to have a subject and a verb there. So if we cook at home, we can avoid this these potentially deadly situations because we know what is beneficial to our health. I'm going to use a noun here, not an adjective. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to just shorten this to, this is your last idea, right? This is say finer. Eating at home will be more convenient. Interesting, I'm using an adjective here, not a noun, because you're using the be verb here, so it's quite common to use an adjective after a linking verb. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that you point of view here. I'm going to say this. Maybe here you might say, for instance, when I finished my work, and when I come back home, I always feel tired and hungry. Maybe put a period here. Then, if someone asks me what you need to use when you're using noun clause, and if someone asks me what I would like, no, someone would ask me I think whether I would like to eat it fast at food stands or at home. What's my answer? Okay, let's look at it again. So I'm changing this all to the I point of view because that focuses around your personal experience, which is, I think, better than talking directly to your audience on this. So finally, eating at home would be more convenient. For instance, when I finish my work and when I come back home, I always feel tired and hungry. Maybe let's just say when I finish. Then if someone asks me whether I'd like to eat at fast food, at food stands, or at home, what's my answer? My answer nothing can stop me from eating food and watching TV on the sofa without restraint to guys and even without clothes. And that is the happiest, and this, I would say this flexibility over my food intake is the happiest time of my day, and is also the most important reason for why I prefer to eat at home. In conclusion, there's no denying that eating at food stands also have other advantages, but what I am concerned more about is that I will save more money, I will eat more safely, and healthily, and eat more conveniently. So I will save more money, I will eat more safely and healthily, and eat more conveniently when I am. Don't forget your be verb in there, buddy. Let's see, when I'm eating food at home. Let's take a look at it one more time, and I think we have your essay where it needs to be. So mostly, I think for the most part, you actually have a pretty good organization with supporting detail, but you just have a lot of language use issues, and that's why I made the corrections I did. In daily life, people have more choices of where and what to eat. Then a new question comes out. Should they eat at food stands or eat food at home? Some believe that eating food at restaurants can save more time and offer a variety of foods from which to choose, which is true. However, in my opinion, I prefer to eat food at home because it has more advantages. In the first place, eating food at home saves more money. Although eating at food stands offer, I'm going to change that to the gerunds take plural, singular verbs. Eating at food stands offers a diversity of foods to choose. Compared with home cooking, eating out will cost more money. For instance, suppose each meal at a restaurant costs $10 for each person, and then a family of two will pay $10. If that figure is multiplied 3 times, and if that is multiplied according to 2 persons eating out, the total sum of money spent equals $60 for 1 day of dining, which is too expensive. However, if these people eat food at home, let's say they can use the $60 to buy many vegetables and meats for more than 1 week of eating. Because when consumers eat outside, they always order too much food and eat just a little. Eating food at home makes it easier to save the leftovers for a future meal. Thus, eating at home will save more money with less waste. In the second place, I prefer home cooking because it is safer than eating at restaurants. It's true that not everyone is good at cooking, and eating outside provides patrons with more delicious foods. However, these customers don't know how the restaurants cook the food, nor do they know if the food is safe and healthy. For example, many restaurants will add food additives to make the food taste more delicious and have a more attractive appearance, but we know that is neither safe nor healthy, thereby causing potential bodily harm. If we cook at home, we can avoid these potentially deadly situations because we know what is beneficial to our health. Finally, eating at home will be more convenient. For instance, when I finish my work and when I come back home, I always feel tired and hungry. Then if someone asks me whether I'd like to eat at food stands or at home, what's my answer? And my answer, nothing can stop me from eating food and watching TV on the sofa without restraint, disguise, and even without clothes. This flexibility over my food intake is the happiest time in my day and is the most important reason for why I prefer to eat at home. In conclusion, there's no denying that eating at food stands also have other advantages. Here, hold on a second. Go ahead. Okay, so then you have what I'm concerned more about is it will save more money, I'll eat more safely and healthily, and eat more conveniently when eating at food at home. So there you go. So your essay score here is 76. So overall, you can improve the thesis, I think, in the first paragraph. You need a little bit more sharply focused thesis. I think overall, though, you have a good concept of topical organization for the writing. This is good. Your details, incredible. You have very specific details for each of those body paragraphs. You can't do any better than that. That's very good. But the polish, the level of polish with the writing, that's where you're having the problems, and that's why I made the corrections that I did. So for you, a good strategy for you is to improve your grammar. You want to improve your grammar by focusing a lot more in the grammar part of my course. All right, and thank you for doing this practice test.